Now, Yunque National Rainforest, which is down that way, what could go wrong? There isn't anything dangerous. Yeah, sure, like the weather, the trees, the hard-to-get foods, the poisonous plants everywhere, the animals that can kill you because of disease and all that stuff. Not many things that can kill you, even though bugs can kill you by biting you. And the poison ivy, the stinging nettles, if you eat them, you'll die. Nothing that can kill you. But here in Yunque, there aren't just poisonous plants, the weather, disease that can kill you. It is something else. Want to guess? I think I know. The baby tigers. And I would be like, no. But aren't there baby tigers here? No! There aren't baby tigers here. This is not Asia. Okay, let's continue. Now, we need to start out with the story of Christopher Columbus, who, of course, comes from Portugal. But then he defected to Spain and came to the Americas, and on his second voyage, you know what he did? He came to Puerto Rico. He realized this, set up a colony. Well, not him, somebody else a few years later would set up the colony. But anyways, Spain started importing stuff like goods from West India, because they owned part of West India. And along with the goods, they brought along a tiny, cute little cat-sized, fuzzy little creature called the West Indian mongoose. Their babies and their parents hitched a ride, infected a bunch of sailors with rabies, which is not a fun disease. It's not even as fun as COVID, right? Yes, it's worse than bubonic plague. It makes you go drunk until you die. But anyways, so they imported it, placed it in Yunque, well, in this area, and was like, what could go wrong? Let's open it up, and I'm infected with rabies, and now I'm about to die because now I'm a bit drunk. And that's basically how we got here. Now, on with the rabies thing. Now, you might be confused, like, what? They carry rabies? Why would they carry rabies? Let me tell you, because mongoose, in their native country, in their native homes, they live in mass numbers. Just hundreds of thousands of them, all spread around. It's basically a tiny city of rabies-infected mongoose. And that's bad because that's going to destroy the natural environment, even if it's native. So nature has a cool thing called kill them. So all they need to do is make them susceptible to rabies and have whoever gets it die. It's a good way to keep the population in check. That's not what they're doing with the vaccine, though. Well, anyways, so they did this, and Mother Nature decided to fall asleep for one moment as the mongoose were imported to Puerto Rico, and they still were extremely susceptible to rabies. And they also carried rabies along with them, so, whoop, here comes the rabies infection. Yes, in Puerto Rico, there's a significant history of disease. For example, the British came, got El Moro, and went out because of dysentery. But rabies, nobody actually ever discovered. Oh yeah, except for the Taino people who are now technically extinct, because they lived in the forest and they were like, home sweet home. Did something bite me? And then they would die of rabies. But of course, not until they bit some other people so that, the rabies infection would spread on. And this rabies infection was terrible. For one thing, humans did not know what it was. It was basically the doctors would come up with a rabies-infected person and be like, you should stop inhaling too much bad air. And then they would be like, what? No, I'm always inhaling bad air because there's pollution in the air because of the Industrial Revolution, and also I'm a soldier, so gunpowder smoke. And all of this combined allows the rabies infection to travel around and, of course, travel to even more mongoose. And even today, this invasive species cannot be controlled. I mean, like, if you go to La Mina Falls or La Coca Falls, and you're at, like, those checkpoints, and you work there, you'll sit and you'll watch the mongoose run around everywhere. It's like a machine gun blasting out Mongoose wherever it is. It's literally an anti-aircraft gun for Mongoose. Technically, that's it. But there is something that you need to understand about the West Indian mongoose. Yes, it has rabies, and it is also legal, I'll get into that a bit later, to kill them unless they aren't coming at you about to kill you or bite your neck or infect you with rabies or anyways, it's gonna kill you unless you have treatment. But what I'm saying is, if you think about the mongoose and think, wow, why can't they kill all of them? If we kill all of them, then we're also going to be killing off like the hawks because the hawks eat them. Oh no. Now our hawks have rabies. Yep, the hawks have rabies now. They eat the mongoose that fly into the air and spread rabies all over the entire island. So yeah, they are pretty bad, but we can kill them. They're still part of the natural environment. If we kill the mongoose, then yeah, the digestive systems of these hawks will have to change because there are no more mongoose for them to eat. So why is their stomach so ginormous for spitting out bones? Why can't they just eat the toadies? But don't eat the toadies. Anyways, they don't even eat the toadies. So yay! And here you need to talk about what thing? Killing them. Now, I remember walking down to Yunque on the road. I saw a bullet shell. And then I looked at it, and I looked that way, and boom, there was some dead mongoose. And then I looked in its head, and yeah, there was some sort of metal in its head. So, yes, that person would actually had a permit to shoot mongoose, which is pretty common here. If you own a gun, then you can get a permit to shoot any mongoose that comes at you trying to kill you. And that's actually a thing. And that is very important to help human beings not get rabies. Because, rabies is bad. Makes you drunk till you die. Yes, it does. But there is a movement that is going on right here about capturing rabies-infected mongoose. All you need to do, trap them in a cage, bring them to the lab, and extract the rabies, and then find out how to make a vaccine for rabies, and spray it all over the place, and nobody will have rabies, including the mongoose. But for now, the mongoose is part of the ecosystem of Yunque. It's part of the ecosystem of West India. It's part of the ecosystem of every single place on Earth where it lives. No matter if it was native there or invasive. Yes, this place is invasive. But one thing that you need to understand is that no matter how deadly a creature can be, you must always respect it. And the West Indian mongoose is something that you should still respect no matter how many people it is killing. We are working hard not to get rid of them, but to help them. And by helping them, we can help us. And this is really important for us to understand. There are many things that hurt the ecosystems, hurt us, but we can't get rid of because it must be there.